Mona Lisa equals SALAIMON equals SOL-O-MON. Another powerful symbol of Solomon's temple, which has for 500 years manipulated the subconscious mind, and assisted in establishing our 3D lunatic state, is the Mona Lisa painting by Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo equals Lion Road equals Lion Way equals Lion Door or DOAR equals of equals UV Vinci equals Van or 5 sacrifice, so C, the sacrifice C. Mona Lisa is an anagram for SALAIMON, or Solomon, the sun and moon. This painting is set symbolically in the 11 western United States, and in particular, the state of California. The chart immediately below, borrowed from a previous page, shows 2 pillar bases at the edge of the painting, which are symbolic for the pillars of BOAZ and GACHIN of Solomon's temple. The name Mona is derived from the word Madonna. This word has been contracted to MONNA, or MONNA, which means moon in Middle English. In the top right corner of this chart, the Lion Sejant is sitting up, and the Mona Lisa is doing likewise. The name Lisa is also an anagram for the word SALI equals Sol-EYE equals sun. Together, Mona Lisa simply means the moon and sun, or Solomon. Mona Lisa, amused by the thought of murdering millions, notice that the name Leonardo da Vinci contains the name Leo, which, when reversed, is oil. Oil in turn is oil through shape and sound association. Leo is also the 8th month of the zodiac circle, and in turn, is the number of total control. Oil is energy, and the name Leo also refers to the lion, the king of beasts. Lion in turn equals our lion, or elder father god, and ion, the energized atom particle, which is demonstrated on this site by the light chart. Layering these subliminals, one atop the other, plus countless other subliminals supporting the previous suggestions, eventually our reality is shaped and fashioned in the manner demonstrating total subservience to the Luciferian thought process. Van, in Vinci, is the vine that grows grapes from which we make wine. This is just one more bit of symbolic nonsense referring to the oil and wine of biblical symbolism, where everything in the Luciferian agenda has to be symbolic. Right down to the name of the person being used to manipulate. This naming of every illusory person that forms the body of humanity is symbolic, and the stronger the symbolism is within a name, in tandem with certain other characteristics, the more that an individual will be used to perpetuate the Luciferian egregore agenda. These individuals then become part of the elite of the world, through a host of endless three-dimensional system interventions. Before we look closer at Da Vinci's next painting, study the chart immediately below. This lays out the Great Valley of Central California. The Cascade Range of mountains is to the north. The Coast Range is located between the valley and the Pacific Ocean. Immediately below San Francisco is the Diablo Range, Devil Range, and the Santa Lucia, Lucifer, mountains run to the southern tip of the valley. On the right side of the map, the Sierra Nevada mountains separate California and Nevada. What you're looking at is the area of Old Mexico, which included California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona and New Mexico, as well as a vast area to the east, north and south. This area, together with Mexico itself, is the real biblical Valley of Megiddo, the Valley of Mexico. This is the area where the Messianic New World Kingdom will make a sacrificial day of judgment. This sacrifice will occur in the Sacramento Valley, and the prime objective will be to capture the worship and control of our eternal paradise state forever. Now have a look at just a few of the significant locations Da Vinci felt led to paint in the background of the Mona Lisa. Keeping in mind that Leonardo was a member of the Priory of Sion, the priority of the Sun Secret Society. As you keep reading this site, you will see the reason why these societies are secret, and what the true nature of the conspiracy really is. The conspiracy is much worse than just trying to create a fascist state out of the world. The conspiracy is to lock us into this three-dimensional stupidity, with absolutely no chance of escape except through death. The Luciferian entities and their human puppets are attempting to create an illusory reality that will be perpetually serving them. Mona Lisa symbols: Mona equals 1, Lisa equals lease, 1 lease equals 1 contract equals 1 betrothed, of course, just as the Last Supper painting had to be rotated 90 degrees. In order to see the symbolism more accurately, the Mona Lisa must be observed as a mirror image. Reverse symbolism is used repeatedly by the Luciferian entities and their followers. Now have a look at the Mona Lisa with the state of California overlaid. I have also included in red the form of a pyramid that follows the contour of the Mona Lisa herself. Above the red pyramid shape is a smaller pyramid in white, showing the all-seeing eye of the capstone of the enlightened ones, or the Luciferian entities and their Illuminati stooges. This next picture lists more details and significant locations and symbolism used in the modern-day names of California cities, mountain ranges, desert regions and so on. Look very closely where the bridge is in the painting. Now focus in and see where the city of San Francisco and San Francisco Bay are located on the outline of California. This all lines up so incredibly close with no distortion of the painting, other than reversing it, and simply sizing the state of California until it covers the Mona Lisa herself. How could this happen? How could these incredible similarities occur? The Mona Lisa was painted about 500 years ago. The New World, and California in particular, hadn't even been discovered yet. How would Da Vinci know what to paint in? This is just a little bit of what the secret is in these hideous secret societies. But keep reading the rest of this page in the following ones. The secrets are getting unlocked one at a time. What you're witnessing is evidence of an egregore hypnotic group of entities. They have us believing that everything around us is reality, and it is not. The lush green valley on the left upper half of the painting is now on the right side. This is the location of the Sacramento, San Joaquin Valley. At the bottom of the valley is a little road that breaks through the mountains and enters some desert-colored terrain. If you look at the map just above, you'll see that the lush valley has a break at the bottom where a road winds through the hills and into desert-toned landscapes. Notice also that this valley is filled with water. It's not just green with vegetation. This is what's going to happen to the Sacramento Valley. It will be flooded by a tsunami earthquake, in an attempt to make the statement that the great loving God of Abraham is going to remove sin from the world. This is all bullshit, mind you, but the event is going to be so overwhelming that any sane person would be foolish to not believe it. The sacraments of the body and blood of Christ, Mona Lisa mirrored, the Last Judgment, the Sistine Chapel, sister of Solomon's Temple. Now let's have a look at another painting, a fresco inside the Sistine Chapel at Vatican City. It took 6 years to paint and is massive in size at almost 41 feet x 46 feet. Its actual dimensions are 40.666 feet x 45.666 feet. There's something very symbolic about those dimensions. It was painted by Michelangelo and is called The Last Judgment. The Last Judgment Day, exterminating sin, the human cull. Keep in mind that the J and G sounds can be verbalized as a Y sound, in keeping with the Hebrew pronunciation of this letter. Judgment equals jug, men, T jug equals gludge when reversed, or widoi, men, T, which is simply die men. This is yet another subliminal, where we're told that there will be a judgment day. The implication is that it will be fair and just. In reality, the breakdown of the word says, we're all going to die. Subliminal hypnotic suggestion doesn't make rational sense in the slightest. It just suggests. What you're supposed to glean from this is the subliminal message that the judgment, die men, is already made and we are all going to die. In other words, this last judgment day garbage is simply a smoke screen, so that when millions of people are mercilessly killed, the rest of humanity will just sit idly by, and continue to support the 3D illusory system, knowing that we are all guilty sinners and deserve what we get. If we're still left alive, we'll be so very grateful to do anything that these Luciferian wackos demand. Have a look at the Last Judgment painting. Keep in mind that Michelangelo was also a member of the Priory of Sion, the secret society that Da Vinci belonged to. The Last Judgment. Now for a few details showing the real meaning hidden in the painting. The Last Supper orgy of sex, death and blood. The reason for all the naked people in the painting is because sex is much easier to perform when you're naked. Study the painting immediately below very carefully. Notice that the Christ is in the very center of the painting once again. The Christ forms the shaft of the pinnace, which is symbolizing that the Messiah is coming, pun intended, to claim his bride. When the Last Judgment was painted, the people depicted were all naked. Many years later they had most of them painted over as a hypocritical show of piety. Of course, they left the big pinnace in the center, with the two big testicle rocks bent to the breeze, hoping no one would catch on. The story that accompanies the Last Judgment painting says that the saints are all gathered around Christ, including his mother, Mary, who is leaning on him, and on his penis. This is similar to the Egyptian goddess, Isis, who married her son, in some versions of the story. Notice that there is blue water dividing the saints from the rest of the people. Towards the lower center, Gabriel and a group of horn blowers are blowing their horns to wake the dead. This group with Gabriel are also part of the circle of saints, who initiate the resurrection of the believers and the unfaithful. If this were not painting in this Christian context, it would be looked upon as reincarnation, but because it has a Christian slant to it, this is simply called the resurrection. The same goes for all the saints judging with Christ. These saints are none other than the 12 main gods of Mount Olympus, judging with Father Time, Cronus. But because it's in a Christian context, it's just the saints and Christ. Hypnosis is an extremely blinded state of awareness. Read the labeling on this painting. Study closely the location of the people throughout the painting as well as exactly where the lines of blue water divide the saints from the common folk. Last Judgment Penis, the skin of circumcision of sin. One of the disciples named Bartholomew, who has returned with the Christ to judge and reign with him, is sitting on the testicle rock too. In his right hand is a knife and in his left hand, his own skin. This is symbolic of the Judeo-Christian tradition of circumcision, the symbolic act of cutting sin out of the heart. There is obviously no need for such a blood ritual since humanity is incapable of sinning, because sin doesn't exist. So the real reason for the skin in the hand of Bartholomew is to demonstrate the color of humanity these entities expect to fulfill. Have a close-up look at Bartholomew and his skin. Notice how the skin drags in the water. Why is there water there? And why is there a boat in the lower right-hand corner of the painting, delivering the ungodly to hell? I was under the impression hell was a hot dry place, where the fire is not quenched. There's subliminal messages all over the place and we're left on our own to fill in the blanks. It is by the power of the resurrection myth that the strength of Zion is established. That strength, being the horrid lie that we die, but if we believe in God, who is Lucifer, will be resurrected in the last day. Well, we don't die. We are eternal and wise and therefore have no need of a resurrection. Furthermore, it is the physical 3D form that we must be rid of to experience the total body that we are, that far exceeds the greatness of this physical flesh created by the Luciferian serpent mind. If we believe we need to be resurrected, then what a hold on our soul these liars have.
قد لاح فجر فارقب النصر المبين دولة الإسلام قامت بدماء الصادقين
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
يا أخي لدرب النجاة لنمضي سويا نصد الغزاة ونرفع